Hello? Am I on? Volume?
Is it showing volume?
Yeah, it's got volume now. It's my mic. It said my mic was. Hang on. Yeah. Let's it's gonna take a second. There's a delay a little bit here, guys. So let's give this a second. For some reason, my mic was muted. I don't know why. I have restarted the computer.
Yeah, there's volume.
There's volume now? Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. There's a little bit of a delay between when I see the comments and everything. Okay, I'm good. For some reason, I restarted the computer, restarted everything, and it muted my mic in there for no reason. We're having Murphy's Law today, guys. So bear with us as we stumble through this forecast here. Hopefully this is a sign of good things to come for tomorrow. Make sure those notifications are set up, especially when we have problems like this and our videos are at a different time. It's really important to have those notifications so you don't miss our videos when we have problems and do it again 50 minutes later. Get it set up, notification setting, push notification, email, or even on your desktop computer. Select those regions for whole city areas, states, whole state, whole nation, etc. Make sure those are all set up so you don't miss any of our push notifications, regardless of if it's a weird delayed video or live coverage, golf ball size hail or larger, and populations 10,000 more, etc. You guys know the drill at this point. Let's push forward now. You probably saw this earlier. You're going to see it again. No hail expected today. Ron Swanson says it's fine because we're moving forward to tomorrow, where we're going to have an actual chance for storms here across the area. This is my preliminary forecast for tomorrow. If you guys watched earlier, you probably saw the still image of this and probably my face looking weird because it got all frozen up. But here we go. Basically, we're expecting storms to fire probably about mid-afternoon, 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I've pushed, if you've noticed, Dallas out of the risk area. It looks like the dry line is moving a little too quickly for the Dallas area to see storms. I think storms are going to form just to the east of the Metroplex and go up pretty quick here. Isolated supercells are expected to fire around 1, 2 in the afternoon, and we're going to see hail probably possibly up to baseball size. Any sort of isolated supercells that can keep themselves together for long enough, we could see hail upwards of baseball size. And everywhere from probably about Kansas City down through south of Shreveport, northeastern Texas, eastern Oklahoma. Tulsa is going to be right on that line where storms may fire either on top of you, just to the west of you, just to the east of you. 15 miles is going to make a huge difference. So right now I kind of have it right on top of Tulsa, and we'll see tomorrow morning where that dry line actually lines up, and that'll give us an idea of where it'll be when storms fire. But Tulsa, you're in the firing line for now. We'll see what happens tomorrow morning. Fayetteville, Arkansas, the whole northwest Arkansas area, Fort Smith, just to the west of Shreveport, Texarkana, and then places like Joplin, Springfield, Missouri, and again up towards Kansas City, all at risk. I think the best risk for the biggest hail. As you move further east through the evening, I think storms are eventually going to go linear, which means less hail, more wind. And with that, I have a progressive with the hail getting smaller as we move forward. I think further north as well, I don't think the hail will get as large, but Omaha, you're at risk as well, possibly upwards of golf ball size hail. Much of southwestern sections of Iowa, same story as the Omaha area. It's pretty much Des Moines points southwest for Iowa, I think, is your best chance for hail, and also tornadoes as well. That more likely to stay isolated up in here as well, just as a little note. So I think these storms could last a lot longer. Looks like we could have, again, once we get to probably about Columbia, Missouri, I really expect storms to be more in the way of a line than through isolated supercells. So I think the further to east you get in Missouri, the lower hail size and lower the hail chances are going to be. I think St. Louis is basically a non-threat for tomorrow. Further south, though, across Arkansas and into Louisiana, I expect storms to be a little more numerous in the warm, open air, the open, warm sector, which basically means supercells will fire ahead of the dry line as well. And I think that's going to put Little Rock at risk of seeing some larger hail, possibly up to tennis ball size. Shreveport, possibly as far east as Monroe, and that's probably the most numerous storms are probably going to be in Arkansas and into Louisiana. I think the more isolated, better storms might be along this dry line and points further north. We'll have a full forecast for this again tomorrow. Of course, we'll have the iron out places like Tulsa, and of course we'll have our percentages on here of where we expect our pick cities to be. Right now, if I had to pick a city, I'd probably say Kansas City has the best shot in terms of a large metro area, just because of that uncertainty with Tulsa. Really going to be kind of splitting hairs with where the dry line is going to end up in here. So with that, we're going to push forward. We're going to talk about further into the weekend. I only have areas of concern for Saturday and Sunday, mainly because what happens tomorrow is going to determine what happens on Saturday. If tomorrow we have isolated supercells, it morphs together into a squall line and just kind of keeps going through the evening and into the overnight hours, your chances of hail across Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, and Kentucky are going to be a lot lower. You're going to probably see a squall line with some embedded tornadoes and a lot of wind, but the hail will be fairly minimal. Now, if the squall line doesn't really develop, or more likely it develops but kind of weakens as the night goes on and kind of dies out the next morning, then we have a much better chance of isolated storms developing on Saturday. Right now, the models are all over the place with it, so we're really just going to have to wait and see what happens tomorrow, and then we'll get a better idea for Saturday. However, if we have the more isolated storms solution, we could see hail upwards of 2 inch in diameter, but if not, then we could have a hard time even getting quarter-size hail. So it's going to be an all-or-nothing type situation on Saturday, and even pushing forward to Sunday, more of the same as Saturday, just a little further to the east. Again, if Saturday has that squall line moving through and it keeps racing to the east, then chances are your area of concern would probably only be in the Carolinas. I think we could see some isolated storms form out ahead of the line on Sunday across North and South Carolina. But I think for the most part, it's going to really depend on what happens on Saturday. If we have a squall line moving through, it'll kill our hail risk. But if there isn't really much of a squall line and it's kind of isolated again, we could see hail across southeastern Georgia, across the Carolinas, down into Florida. So it's going to be really, tomorrow is going to set the wheels into motion for Saturday and Sunday. It's kind of domino effect through the weekend. So again, it all comes down to tomorrow. And then after that, we'll see how the weekend progresses. We could see a ton of hail this weekend, or we could see just hail tomorrow. It's really going to one or the other, guys. So with that, I'm going to kind of show the models right now just for tomorrow. I'll show one of the runs. It's still kind of messy looking, but just give you guys a little visual of what we're expecting. Oh, wait, hang on. Let me just jump onto this here. Okay, screen display. There we go. All right. There we go. So this is one of the high resolution models here. Just going to show real quick what we're expecting. And pushing forward, you can see this is moving forward to tomorrow afternoon. You see it's showing storms trying to form around midday. Now there's going to be no cap in place. So the fact that you have one run here, you show some storms trying to fire and then it disappears. As a meteorologist, I see that and see that as a possible problem of just this model has a really hard time with storms sometimes, just like the initiation and continuation of storms. So I'm going to take that with a grain of salt and see, okay, storms are going to fire around 1, 2 o'clock, possibly west of Tulsa or on top of Tulsa. You see other isolated storms here as we move forward to 3, 4 o'clock across the Omaha area, and then eventually approaching the Kansas City area as well, storms forming, other storms back here. And then you see a whole, once I just move out of the way, you can see a whole bunch of storms forming across Arkansas. I think Arkansas for sure will see quite a bit of hail-producing severe weather tomorrow. And across Dallas, way down here at the bottom of my screen, not really much anything. I don't think there's going to be much forming in the Dallas area tomorrow. It's going to be just a little too far to your east, fortunately. But if we look ahead, I'm not going to take the time to look ahead right now, but looking ahead, I think next Friday, we're kind of going in this pattern where it seems like every Friday we have an event come through. Another big system looks like it's going to kick through. So don't fret if you're nervous. If you want big storms across Fort Worth or even Oklahoma City, we have plenty of more chances down the pipeline here, and even some indications that this stubborn cold air in the Hudson Bay area up in Canada might finally be going away next week. Fingers crossed. Do the hail dances, do some warm air dances, because we really want to get this winter air out of here. I don't know about you, I am sick and tired of waking up on a Saturday or Sunday morning and it's 20 friggin' degrees outside in Oklahoma City in mid-April. I'm not a fan of that. I want it to warm up. I want big storms to happen just as much as you guys do. Anyway, moving forward, this is just going a little further south, showing across Texas, We see, again, storms forming. Might start flirting down with the Houston area tomorrow evening, possibly. But I think most of it's going to be a little further north. But we'll see. Again, we'll have a full forecast updated again tomorrow, possibly before noon, depending on how things shape up going through the rest of today and into tomorrow morning. So that's what, again, that is what we're expecting. You can see this model wants that squall line to come racing through, and then it kind of breaks it up going into the day on Saturday. So Saturday's up in the air right now. So with that, I'm going to shift back over to our little show, wrap things up for you guys. Again, we apologize for all the issues that we were having earlier this afternoon. We're just kind of trying out some different stuff, and unfortunately things just fell apart on us, and not too sure what the problem was. It seems like things are working okay now, so we're going to kind of stick with what works. We don't want this to happen tomorrow when we do live coverage, because of course we always do live coverage whenever large hail is moving into a populated area. And make sure you follow us on Facebook and click see first to make sure that you don't miss that. Even if you miss the push notification, it'll pop up at the top of your news feed if you have our page set to be seen first on your news feed. Right at the top when you open your Facebook, whether it's on your desktop computer, on your mobile phone, you can do that, see that, so you don't miss any of our updates. And give us a call, email us, visit our website, and message us through intercom. Anyway, plenty of ways to get in contact with us, and we will try to respond as fast as possible and answer any questions you may have or any inquiries you have about Hail Trace. I'm going to wrap things up, guys. I'll see you again tomorrow, possibly before noon. It's likely that things may get going pretty early tomorrow, so I want to get ahead of the storms, of course, and get that forecast out for you guys before we have to suddenly do live coverage. So keep an eye out on your phone. Make sure you pay attention to those push notifications if we do a forecast before noon tomorrow. And as always, we'll be here every single day. I'm lead meteorologist John Choquette. Have a great rest of your Thursday.